So we're going to do a video here about how to adjust the edge support on an EQ mirror cell. So we've got our EQ10 here, and we've got our sacrificial full thickness 10-inch mirror that we don't mind messing around with because the coating on that is long gone. And that's what we're going to do today. We've got a Phillips screwdriver, some Allen wrenches, maybe a short little compact ratchet Phillips screwdriver would be helpful. And we've got some shims, and you should be getting some shims shipped to you with your EQ mirror cell. These are 3/1000 thick plastic shims. And we have this blue tape that you see here on the deck. What we want to do is think about this blue tape is going to act like they say the underside of your telescope, where it's going to carry the weight most of the time. So we're going to target that because we would like to have 3 supports on the mirror, with this being at the bottom to start with. So we're going to adjust these 3 and then make the rest match those 3. The first thing we're going to do is take off these mounting brackets. So you need a 5/32 Allen wrench to take these off. Taking these off will give us much better access to the screws that we need to tighten for the adjustment screws. So I'm going to loosen these. And we have to loosen all of them so that they all move. But these back here I've already loosened. So now we're going to turn this over. So you want to pull all of these back so there's space for the mirror to fit in here. And then we're going to pick this guy up. You know, and obviously your mirror, you should have your top covering still on the mirror with the edge of the mirror clean, or at least clean enough so that the edge supports don't touch your cover. And then you're going to visually center the mirror. So if you see that one side is a little bit closer to the edge than the other, then you can just push it around where you want it to be. Okay, so we're going to choose these 3 to get started with, and I'm going to put some tape on there so I don't lose track of the 3 that we're working on. Like that. Okay. So I'm going to rotate this around to the first one and let it extend out over the table here so that I can get access to these adjustment screws. And when I shift, you see I'm going to shift this forward and touch the mirror, and I'm going to push a little bit right on the roller that's inside here. Can you see that guy right there? I'm going to push right on that little roller. I don't want to push on the block. I want to push on the roller, and with very light pressure. And then reach down below and tighten the outboard screw. And then tighten the inner one. Okay. Then we're going to rotate around to the third one over here. And we're going to do the same thing. Push on the little wheel, tighten up that screw. And then tighten up the inboard screw. Okay, so now we have these 2 defining the position of the mirror cell. Now we're going to rotate it and work on the third one in the middle between these 2. And we're going to slide it up against the mirror with just light pressure on the roller and tighten up the screw that's on the outboard edge. Just with light pressure on the roller. And then tighten the inboard screw. And now we will rotate the mirror like this, and we'll check. And each roller should have a little bit of resistance to movement. And while you push on the mirror and draw it in a little bit, and now we have 3 of these adjusted, supporting the mirror more or less equally. So now it's time to work on the other 3. And we're going to choose the opposing one. We have these 3 done. So the one opposing this station we're going to do next. We're going to put our shim in place. And we're going to push lightly on it again. And tighten up the outside screw and the inside screw. And then pull the shim out, and it should be nice and tight, kind of like that. And we should feel just a slight resistance on the wheel, and we do, and the mirror still rotates like this, so we're good. On to the next one. Again, make sure you're out over the edge of the table. Take one of your shims and stick her in here. Push forward. On the roller. It's important to push on the roller and not the block. And we've got one tightened, getting the second one tight. If you're having a hard time getting that second one tight, in some instances, this little 90-degree wrench really helps, because it'll go inside there and be a big help. Now we're going to pull on this and make sure we have some tension on it, and we do. And the mirror still rotates, so we're good there. We have one more to do. This is our last one. So the shim again goes in. And pushing on the roller, tightening the screw. The second one. There. A little bit of tension on there. The mirror still moves, so we're good. So there's just a slight amount of tension on the mirror, and yet it's well retained in 6 different directions. So this is going to be a great support to this mirror. So a final test to do after you get these 6 adjusted is to lift the mirror out. It shouldn't bring the cell with it. It should have a little friction on it, but it should roll right out of there and not lift up the cell. So there you go. Not that hard. And then once again, when you mount it into your scope, if you do have an edge of the lower edge of the scope that's predominantly going to be carrying the load, you should mount it so that you have a set of 3 supporting the mirror as it goes down to the horizon. If you have it the other way like this, it's not the end of the world, but I think overall I would prefer to have 3 position support to the edge of the mirror when it goes towards the horizon.